Hello, sports fans. Welcome to another edition of VetsPlusSports.com. This is your host, Terrell Cool Beans Davis, along with my co host, Mr. James Miller, which somehow, I don't his camera's blacked out. I'm like, let me see what we can do here. I don't know what happened. Your camera blacked out for a minute.
Yeah, the quick numbers on too, and we're live now.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even notice that. I was like, alrighty. Well, like I said, welcome to another edition of VetsPlusSports.com. This is your host, Terrell Cool Beans Davis, along with my co host, Mr. James Miller.
Hello, everyone. How y'all doing this weekend? I'm still in North Carolina, so the second edition for me from here from the beach. Hope y'all doing well this weekend. And before we get in this episode, and before I let Cool Beans do a shout out to our listeners, he did not listen to me since last week. We talked about it on the live and on the audio. I told him not to watch those Knicks play. He didn't watch the first two games of this series. They won. Then he watched them today and they lost. So you Knicks fans out there, you can give Cool Beans a shout out for the reason why they lost.
All right.
But I'll let him do a shout out to our listeners.
Yes, we like to thank those that come out to watch our live. Thanks for giving us your undivided attention. We appreciate that. And for all those that'll come back and watch the replay, we thank you for that. And for our radio edition, like we didn't do a radio edition last week. Like I said, James is in North Carolina. So but for our radio listeners that we had, our top cities were San Jose, California, Boardman, Oregon, Ashburn, Virginia, Washington, D.C., Grinzak, Weiland, Germany, and Brussels, Belgium. We thank y'all.
Yes, thank y'all for tuning in and listening. Um, so we'll get here. I'm trying to pull some stuff up. When we talk about when it comes to some football, but I'm having little issues. Um, let's see, this may be it right here. Um, but we'll do some. We'll get to some scores here. I got it up here for hockey. They're in now. Um, so here's scores that we have right now. Right,
I don't know if it's my connection or at the beach you breaking up. You froze. James, it looks like I lost James. Yep, but he was getting ready to go over hockey, so let me see if I can bring up them hockey scores. Uh Hockey playoffs have been going on right now. I have not been watching the hockey, honestly. I don't know. Let's see what them hockey scores look like, though. All right, so hockey playoffs. Today we had the Hurricanes beat the Capitals 4-0, shut them out, and the Dallas Stars got shut out. This one from yesterday, they got shut out. It was 4-0. They like them fours today.
there you are. There you are. I don't know what
I,
happened.
I know you got disconnected for a minute. Now it's like, well, let me go ahead and pull up them hockey
Yeah,
scores.
yeah. Hurricanes won tonight or this evening, 4-0 over the Capitals. The Hurricanes go up 2-1 on the series, and then the Golden Knights and the Oilers are getting ready to start Game 3 tonight in Edmonton. Leads that series 2-0.
Yeah, I guess Edmonton trying to get back in those finals again,
They
getting
are,
the
and
Stanley Cup.
The Golden Knights is pretty tough. But Edmonton is looking to make a run. And then last night's scores, you had the Panthers beating the Maple Leafs 5-4. Toronto leads that series 2-1, and then the Jets beat the Stars 4-0. That was game two of that series of the West second round, and they are tied up 1-1. Uh, and tomorrow you'll be having the Jets at the Stars. That's game three. And the Maple Leafs at the Panthers for game four of that one. Um, that's what we have right now going on as far as hockey. And we'll go to, I'll give you some baseball scores, and then we'll get into our basketball and football.
Cool beans. Uh oh, you're freezing up again.
Oh, no, that ain't good.
What ain't good? Yeah, I can
Can
hear
you
you.
hear me?
Yeah, you froze up for a minute, but yeah, you're
All right.
back.
Okay.
Yeah, it's your bank, your beach connection, I guess. I think because I see you, but I don't hear you anymore. You're froze. Let me pull up the baseball scores.
All right. There we are. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
All right. All right. You had the break and the Pirates 3-2 in 11 today. Right now, on the seventh, you got the Red Sox over the Royals 7-1. Bottom of the fifth out in Houston, the Reds. This is a football game. In the bottom of the fifth, the Reds 12, Houston 8. Um,
Ooh.
they still got 4 innings to go. And then in the top of the eighth, in Chicago, you got the Marlins and the White Sox. They're tied up 1-1. Bottom of the sixth in New York, the Mets and the Cubs. The Cubs are up 4-3. Bottom of the eighth in Minnesota, they are up on the Giants 2-1. Top of the fourth in Colorado, and the Padres are spanking the Rockies. It's 8-0. Uh, and the bottom of four in Arizona, they're playing the Dodgers, and they are up on the Dodgers 1-0. And then you've got two games getting ready to start here shortly. The Orioles and the Angels at Anaheim, and then the Blue Jays are playing the Mariners in Seattle. Um, some finals that we have right here today. You had the Cardinals beat the Nationals 4-2. Athletics beat the Yankees in Oakland 11-7. The Rays beat the Brewers 3-2. Phillies over the Guardians 7-1, and the Rangers beat the Tigers 10-3. And with the standings, my Braves they are holding around 500. They're one game actually, one game under 500. Still in third place, 4 games behind second. So they're still holding in there. Then in the Central, they're in the East. The Cubs take control of the first in that division by a game and a half over the Cardinals. And then the Dodgers still hold a 1 game lead on the Padres out west in the National. And then in the American, the Yankees got a 2.5 game lead on the Red Sox. Detroit's got a 2 game lead on the Royals in the Central. And in the West, Seattle Mariners got a 2.5 game lead on the Athletics. And that is
Alrighty.
what we got with baseball now. And what do you have with women's basketball?
Women's basketball. There's not much I have. We are today is the 10th. We are 5 days out from opening game. The main game that everybody's gonna be really looking at to is the Indiana Fever's first game, where they play the Chicago Sky, and this is supposed to
That
be.
could be a blowout.
I think it will. But see, here's the thing. This is supposed to be an all new Sky. I've been doing my diligence, so I don't have to be biased or anything. So I'm looking at it, like with a clear head. I'm looking at both sides. Now, the Sky is supposed to be having it with new head coach. They're gonna bring in a new what you call it, and I kind of like what he was talking about. A lot of Angel Reese fans was not happy about it, but here's the thing: They drafted last year. Their two rookies that actually was in the starting lineup was Camila Cardoza and Angel Reese. Now here's the thing. This is where uh Teresa Witherspoon was messing up. Teresa Witherspoon actually showed favoritism towards Angel Reese, and you can tell by how they played the game. Versus Camila Cardoza was your number one. You drafted her first. You know, she's a 6'6", and in the women's league,
That's
she's
tall.
playing. She's center. Yeah, she's tall. I mean, like you should run the offense through her, but they wasn't. They
Exactly.
was running it through Angel Reese. Angel Reese is not small either. Angel Reese is 6'4", so she's a little bit shorter than Camila Cardoza, but Camila Cardoza is a powerhouse. She's big center. She can get in there, get those rebounds, and get the basket. Now, here's the thing. The coach, the new coach, he's coming with a total different attack. He wants Angel Reese. He's pulling Angel Reese out from the basket. Angel is supposed to be. Remember we were seeing in them when they were showing those preseason what you call it, and she was practicing shooting her threes and all that. And everybody's like, she'll be practicing doing layups because all them layups and she missing all the other stuff. He's pulling Angel Reese outside to where she can get the 10 to 15 foot jumper for sure, and then he wants to take in some
Hmm.
threes. That would actually free up Camila Cardoza down there in the bottom because she can't get double teamed because you're going to be bringing out your other big to try to cover Angel Reese. So they don't have two people down there. And a lot of people, Angel Reese fans, was mad and upset. Well, she has a streak of double doubles on the rebounds and points. It's not about streaks. It's about you get together as a
Winning.
team. Exactly. You're a whole bunch of individuals get together, form a team. Your common goal should be to win, not pad stats, not what you call it. I mean, shoot, if Angel Reese is as good as everybody thinks she is, or as good as she thinks she is, regardless of the fact that she's outside shooting those what you call it, she'll still get those rebounds.
Of course. And here's and by what you're saying, I think that's going to be a good strategy with that new coach. And with two bigs like that, I mean, them are two. That's two tall girls to be on a team.
Yeah,
There's no reason why they shouldn't be dominating the boards underneath. Period.
right. And so their matchup is they're playing what you call it. So Camila Cardozo will be down there with Aaliyah Boston from the Fever, and Natasha Howard will have to come outside to guard Angel Reese, versus having Natasha Howard down there to where she can double team with her and Aaliyah Boston can double team Cardosa. Because Aaliyah Boston's only she's 6'5". Natasha Howard is, I think she's like 6'4", 6'5".
Gotcha.
So, versus them getting the double team on Cardosa, she's going to have to go out and guard Angel.
I
But,
can see how that's going to pan. Now, I'll say this: while I've been down here, I did two fantasy leagues with the women's NBA.
oh, yeah, I didn't get on there.
Yeah, I did two. I did two women's on that. But you still got time if you want to join it. Just jump in one. Um, my thing is the players I seen on the Fever.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, that roster's loaded. They are
Fever is.
loaded.
I mean, and what you call it? I'm gonna go ahead and say this right now because I totally forgot about it. I meant to mention it. Cheryl Swoops up there making herself look like a nut job again. She's mad at what you call it. And my thing is, she used to be a coach. She knows how this works. She was like, because Bree Hall from South Carolina, she got cut. I didn't think she was gonna get cut. I thought they was gonna keep the guard from South Carolina, but they cut her. But here's the thing. She was like, during that preseason game, that she's talking about some your starters got all these minutes versus you don't bring them in until like the end of the fourth quarter. Why don't you didn't give them a chance to prove themselves to show what they got to be on the team? I'm like, this is a whole new coach, a whole new offense with whole new players. You need your starters that you think that's going to be, you think your starters, you need them to put all of them together, get as much minutes they want to gel together. This is a
Exactly.
totally new team. This is not the same people like they've been playing for years. Yeah, if they've been playing for years, I'd set them down on the bench. They wouldn't play past the first quarter. But these are all no new pieces. The only three people that's new that's in the starting lineup is the same. You got CC, you got Leah Boston, and you got Kelsey Mitchell. Those are the only three. Then you got Dewana Bonner. She came from the Connecticut Suns, and you got Natasha Howard, who came from the Dallas Wings.
Gotcha.
You, they have to gel. They have not played together, and then you got off the bench coming off the bench. You got Lexi Hall and Sophie Cunningham.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see how they start out, especially kicking that game off during the start of their season.
Oh yeah,
I think that's going to be. You're going to have a lot of viewership on that game, just that game alone,
yeah.
and we will. It's going to be interesting to watch that one.
I don't know. I was sitting there thinking about. I wonder if I should do this for X. I was thinking about because Fubu, they actually will have fever games, and it'd be another app I have to pay for. But it'd be like it's like $85 a month, and I was like, ugh, I don't know if I want
Ooh,
to swing 85. But here's the
that's a
thing,
lot of money.
yeah. But here's the beauty of it: basketball season only gonna be 2 months.
Yeah.
I paid him 2 months. I cancel that crap. I've
Um,
been thinking about it, and I was like, I can get on X, every now and then. We could do a broadcast. I wouldn't be able to show it, but we'd do like radio broadcasts. You know how radio broadcasters be telling everything, a play by play and talk.
mhm.
I don't know. I think I kind of want to practice that.
There you go. That'll work. Um, let's see. Anything else? You know what? Well, I'll say this. When I was watching, when I was doing those two drafts I did with women's NBA,
Uh huh.
um, when you look at they give, we done the football draft, the NBA draft, something similar. Which I mean, I think there ain't that many rounds with the women's NBA.
Right. And I don't think I got your email. I was looking through it for the email when we brought it up. I said, oh, let me get on my phone real
Yeah.
quick and look at it. Let me check in my spam because sometimes that's where it'll go.
I'll send it to you if it didn't. But with the women's, when it shows the fantasy points for the women's,
Uh huh.
you only got two top key players that's projected to get a lot of fantasy points. Guess who those two are?
Aja Wilson. I figure she's up there. And would Caitlin Clark be
She,
up there?
yep, Aja Wilson's your number one. Caitlin Clark's your number two. And after that, it's just whoever. I mean, it's going to be whoever you get. I mean, because it don't go them two. When you go at them points, they don't. It's only two top ones. The rest of them, for instance, I think like Caitlin maybe be like 1,600 points on the season. Odds is like 1,700, and then it drops down to like 1,300 all the way down.
Right. You want a
So
sleeper? A sleeper on that, what you call it? She's still on the fever team, but a sleeper will, because everybody's going to expect Kelsey Mitchell to get her points. But Sophie Cunningham, she can play.
she's not predicted. I think maybe 800 fantasy points on the season.
Yep. See, that's the sleeper.
Thank
Up, you're breaking up again. Okay, I hear you now. Your voice is back, but your pictures froze. Uh-oh. Yep, look like I lost him. Let's try this. See if I can refresh him. Nope, he still froze. All right, there he is coming back.
Yeah, I'm coming back.
I got
But
you.
all right. Anything else with the women's NBA?
No, let's go ahead and move on to the disappointment of the day.
All right. The biggest disappointment of the day for Cool Beans is those Knicks got beat by the Celtics 115 to 93 in New York. New York. And it's all because of Cool Beans. I told Cool Beans, I said, do not watch them. Just stay. I mean, they're winning when you're not watching. And he watched, and they lost.
I know I had access to the TV. I turned it on and
And I told him that's the reason why those Cowboys ain't winning because he's watching them. But then right now you've got the Timberwolves and the Warriors going on. 7 minutes left in the second quarter. Timberwolves 36, Warriors 29. I'm kind of surprised right now that the Warriors are in this game with Curry being out. Um, I don't know. Last I seen, it was going to be a week. Um, that swings the whole difference of this series, I think. When the Warriors took game one, I thought they would be able to take this series then, but now where Curry's out,
Mhm.
that's going to change. It's going to change everything. You got old Ant there. He's a pretty tough player. It's going to be hard to contend with now.
You reminded me of something. I thought about it. I wanted to mention it when we was on the air because I bet you a lot of people don't know because I didn't know. I just learned this. I learned this yesterday. Is when I learned it. Here's the funny thing. All right, the NBA and women's NBA is gonna be the same because you know they pretty much the same coin, just two different sides. But here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, regular season, your bench has to be 12 people. All right. And then you go through
Mm-hmm.
those 12. Now, here's the thing if you make it to the playoffs, you know, most people play a tight rotation on playoffs. You have your bench, you have all your people, but you're only going to play about 7, maybe 8 people. So
Yeah,
tell me why they got this stupid rule that if you make the playoffs, you're allowed to have 14 people. What the heck?
I guess because of injuries. It's the only thing. I think it. Who was that a couple years ago? That was the Heat, or was your Knicks? One of them lost. I mean, they lost like 4 or 5 players during the playoffs.
Oh, that was Nick's not last year. It might be the
Year
year
before
before
last.
last. Yeah, they was dropping like flies.
So maybe that's the reason why. To in case that happens, so a team has players to try to make a run. But
I guess
if you
so,
lose,
but it would make sense to have you have 14 people during the regular season, then you get the playoffs cut down to 12 because you're not
yeah.
playing everybody.
Uh, but I mean, if you start losing key players, it's going to be hard to be able to compete when the other teams got their players. Um,
Yep.
that's just the way it is. And but now I want to mention something here. This was on Facebook. This was a post. Something to think about. You know, LeBron has played 21 seasons. He's got 4 rings, and he's been swept 4 times in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Swept. Steph Curry, 15 seasons, 4 rings, and has never been swept.
Yep.
So, where I'm going on this is how can he be as considered as the GOAT when there's so many other people ahead of him? And
I know, right?
another thing I seen that was on Facebook there with the news is Bronny James said that his success has nothing to do with his dad, and so the thing is, the only reason he's there in the NBA is because of his dad.
Yep.
So
Cause and he shouldn't even say that because his success has nothing to do with his dad. You only played the first leg of game. You played the first leg of game, and then after that, you were shipped to the G League, and you never seen the bench again.
that's it. So I mean, my thing is seeing sometimes it's just better for players to keep the mouth shut. Just
There you go. That's all
keep
he
your
had to do
mouth
was shut up.
shut. And you know, and it's like, and here's what I'm going to blame it on. You know, you and I grew up in a little different era. You're a little bit older than I am, but you know, I heard, I guess towards maybe when I got a little bit older, That old saying, "There's no such thing as a stupid question."
Yeah.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, there is. You've been lied to. You've been lied to. So I mean, and I think this is where it comes from. They just don't know how to shut up. Shut up when it comes to interviews and stuff. They just keep open their mouth. It makes them look not too smart. But it's just I don't know. Just keep your mouth shut. It's just better just to keep your mouth shut and just keep going on. That's
Exactly.
that's like hey, that's why that you can never see. They never had anything on Tom Brady. Tom Brady, he knew how to keep his mouth shut. Michael
True.
Jordan, they tried to poke Michael Jordan. They poke him all the time. Michael Jordan hated the news media, and they tried to get him all the time. They was poking that old bear there, and he kept his mouth shut. Or he was calm. He was smart with choosing his words. But man, these young kids today, my goodness, they they just stick their foot in their mouth all the time.
Yep.
But oh, let me get some other scores. From last night from the NBA. You had I was hoping they would pull it off, and they did. The Cavaliers beat the Pacers 126-104.
Yep.
The Nuggets. I think the Nuggets going to take this series. The Nuggets beat the
I
Thunder
think so too. I was like, the Nuggets.
113-104.
The Nuggets
The
put it
Nut
on them.
the Nuggets could end up winning this thing.
Yep.
I mean, um, you could have the Cavaliers and the Knicks playing in the Eastern Conference Final. You could have the Nuggets, and I don't think Curry's team's going to make it without him.
I
But
don't think he'll make it without him either. It depends on how. Like I said, you say he's only out for a week. I was picturing myself that there was only going to be them 2 games. And they could be down 2-1, and Curry come back. I could say, yeah, they could still be in it.
well, they said they wouldn't want to rush him back. But if they could pull this game out tonight, all right, I'm going to say this is a pivotal game for the Warriors. Okay, this game here tonight, you're playing in. If I'm not mistaken, you're in Oakland.
Yep.
Okay, if they could pull this game out in Oakland without Curry, they go up 2-1. This is a pivotal game here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you. I think for them right now with Curry being out, this is a must win.
Yes, it
Because all right,
is.
you go up 2-1. Then if you drop the next one in Oakland, then it's tied 2-2.
Yep.
Right now they're in a ball game. It's 39-33 right now.
Okay.
Um, if they can keep it close and pull it off at the end, Jimmy Butler, you got to come out. He's got to come out. He got to drop 40, 50 points.
That's the thing. That's the thing that gets me with him. He doesn't, for some strange reason, he talk about something. He's not a volume shooter. He never was, and he never will be. You need to be a volume shooter tonight. I mean, Curry's not there to take his 20 shots. You need at least take 10.
I
Let
mean,
Draymond have another 5 of those shots, and somebody else.
they got a pretty decent bench coming off. So I mean, they're for instance, let's see here. Let's see what they got
Because they
here. Let's
got
go
Buddy
to
Healed, or Hild, I don't know how you pronounce it. Healed or
Buddy
Hild.
Hill. It's Hill.
Healed.
Hill, yeah, Buddy Hill. He used to play for Oklahoma Sooners.
Yeah.
All right, get this. This is how deep they are, and this is even when Curry was in the lineup. Okay, one, two, three, four, five players have already played off the bench. Okay, two of them 3 minutes. You got Post with 3 minutes. You've got Moody with 3 minutes. Looney with 6. You've got Peyton with 10, and you got
Kaminga.
Kaminga with 13. So they've got a deep bench. Um, so they got to find points somewhere. Right now, their high score right now is Butler. Jimmy's got 13. He's already took 10 shots in the first half. He's 6 of 10 shooting 60%. Feed him the ball.
Yeah.
Feed him the ball. He's got a hot hand. Kaminga, he is 4 or 5. He's got 10 points right now. So you got to find this production from somewhere else. Um, it's 39-35 as we speak right now. So, I mean, we'll see what they can do. This is a must win for the Warriors if they want to have a chance to advance, I think, to
Mm-hmm.
beat the Minnesota with the injury to Curry. Because the thing is, when Curry's in the lineup, you don't know. He can drop 40, 50, 60 points any night.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
he's still 36. I don't know what his age is.
37. I
I
think he's
think he
37.
may be a little older than that. 37. Okay,
Yeah.
37. Because I knew he's a few years behind LeBron. But I mean, he could drop 40, 50 in no time.
Mm-hmm.
He gets on that hot streak. I mean, he can hit 6, 8 3 pointers in a matter of no time.
That's the
So, but
bad part. Cause what you call it? That's why he's sitting out that hamstring. You gotta do is hitting them 3-pointers. That's a lot of jumping. And it ain't
you
gonna
got to
help,
think,
help that hamstring.
and he is not tall. He's only 6'2", I
Yeah.
think. So that ain't tall for the NBA.
No.
He plays bigger than what his size is.
Yep.
Um, and then tomorrow on the schedule, you've got the Thunder and the Nuggets. They play at 3:30. I think Denver goes up 3-1 in that series. Um,
That'd be nice.
yeah, and they're thinking that series will go 7. If Denver wins that tomorrow, that series ain't going 7. It'll end. It'll end in Minnesota. Not Minnesota Thunder. It'll end on
You
OKC
know,
if
yep,
Denver.
06.
Yeah, if Denver goes up. And then the Cavaliers and the Pacers play tomorrow. That should be another good series there.
I would
And
like to see the Pacers win that. The only
I'm going
reason
Cleveland.
why, just because if New York can survive Boston and knock them out,
I know why. I
because
know why you're saying this.
yeah, because Cleveland they ain't beat Cleveland all year.
Well, they ain't beat Boston all year either.
I
Remember I
know
told you?
that was the
Remember I
surprise.
told you?
Yeah, yeah, you
All right.
told me.
Your Knicks would have been up 3-0 if you didn't turn the TV on. So I'm pulling for Cleveland. My family, like I said, my family's from Cleveland, so I'm pulling for the Cavaliers. We'll see what happens. That series can go either way, though. I mean, Cleveland's up 2-1. Which the start of that series, Cleveland didn't have a couple of their players when they
Yeah,
lost that game one. They didn't
Gardner
have.
and was it Mobley? I
Uh,
think him and Mobley was
there
sitting
was
out.
three. There was three players out.
Oh
Garland,
yeah, Hunter
Hunter, Garland, and was it Mobley? Yeah, Mobley.
Mobley.
Yeah, so three of their key players were out. So they got them back. So that series could be over now
Yeah, it
since
could
they got
be.
the three players back. Um, anything else with the NBA?
No.
All right, well, we'll be moving right along with some football, but I'm going to get into a little bit of college. I mentioned about a couple things. And what I wanted to mention was, everybody's seen in the news about, I guess, Sherrod Sanders. That's how you say
Yeah.
his name. Which, there's all kinds of news media chaos, I guess you could say, about Colorado retiring Sanders' jersey and Hunter's jersey. I ain't going to say I'm a for it or against it. I can tell you this. I can see them retiring Hunter's jersey
Yeah, I can see
because
that.
he's a two-way player. But I looked up some stuff. Okay, like I said, I ain't gonna say I'm for it or against it. To me, I think it was kind of early, but I can see it as a dad. You know what they want. I'm gonna take care of my sons.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, I just looked up Shador. That's how you say his name. Shador, I think.
Yeah, Shador.
Sanders' his name. His stats for his 2 years in Colorado. He played. Okay. All right, you ready for this? If I can get these stats correct. 70. All right. His 2 years at Colorado, he passed for 7,100 yards
Okay.
and 62 touchdowns in 2 years. Okay.
That's not bad.
All right. You ready for Cordell Stewart? Remember old Cordell?
Oh yeah, I remember
Oh,
Cordell.
I mean, I was a big Cordell fan. He was in
I loved
Pittsburgh.
Cordell.
Big Cordell fan. All right, you ready for this?
Slash.
All right. To me, that would be your next best quarterback at Colorado. I know they had the championship year, which they split between two quarterbacks. So you bring up Cordell Stewart's stats here, which maybe here they are. All right, you ready? He played 4 years in Colorado, 91 to 94.
Okay.
And those 4 years, this is his passing yards, 6,481 and 33 touchdowns,
Yep. See,
compared to 7,100 yards passing and 62 touchdowns
in half the time.
in 2 years and half the
Yep.
time. So now, yeah, we're going to say, yeah, it's a different time, different era. It's pass more heavy now than it was then. Um, but to go on the pro side, or you can say, or of retiring to Jersey, I mean, you got an argument for it. Will they be another quarterback to produce that stat within the time frame he did after he leaves? Probably
Yeah.
not. And if you look at that, he didn't have a line either. His line wasn't the best.
Right.
So whenever whenever Dion goes to leave Colorado, right now Colorado's on the map again. Whenever Dion decides to leave Colorado and quits coaching
Mm-hmm.
them, they're probably gonna fall back down again.
Probably so. Here's the thing. Somebody was defending Sanders going so late, and I was listening to him. I was like, he might have had a valid point, but I didn't have. It's not the resource to look it up. I just didn't know how to look it up. He was like, he's talking about the time that Sanders was there. He was like, he had a losing record against winning teams.
You can't. That has nothing to do with it
Yeah,
to me. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Because I mean, you got he's actually playing at a little bit of a smaller school compared to a lot of big schools. Okay, he didn't have a line. If you look at his stats, if I bring it back up here, um, his QBR for last year was 168.8, and the year before was 151.7.
Okay.
I'm not counting the time he was at
Yeah, Jackson.
Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Uh, I ain't counting that because that's a very small school. Uh, so you look at that, and the thing is, I don't know what it is, and this ain't patting myself on the back or anything like that or being arrogant. Hey, when I watch college football, if I get to watch a player long enough in teams, I can see the mechanics and everything else. I don't know. It's just something that comes to me seeing mechanics. I, I've seen his mechanic. I think he's good. He think he's going to do good in the NFL. Just like I said before on the podcast with Lamar Jackson when he was in college, they kept saying Lamar ain't going to make it in the NFL. He ain't going to make it. I kept saying yes, he is. I watched these mechanics and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. He had an arm. Now the IQ for Lamar Jackson ain't very high, but he's got an arm and he's
Right.
fast. He's athletic. Sanders is smart. He is smart with the ball, and which I don't know if I mentioned this on our live last weekend. Did you hear? Yeah, I think I did. I can't think of his name now. The coach for Denver, Peyton,
Uh
Sean
huh.
Payton. Did I mention that last weekend?
Oh, how he was talking about he watched Sanders play. Uh
Yeah, did I mention that last weekend?
yeah.
I can't remember if not. If not, I'll mention it again. If I did, I'm sorry. Sean Payton, they asked him what they thought about Sanders. Shador Sanders falling so far down. And he said, what you're going to see is this guy carry a chip on his shoulders and he's going to play to his best ability. He said, I grew up watching him from a little kid. He said, he's going to be fine. He's going to make it in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think he will. I think he'll make it in the NFL. And going back to stats, okay? The championship team in the late '80s was the Colorado Buffs. You got a quarterback, Darian Hogan. He wasn't too happy that they retired Shador's Sanders' jersey. But all right, now this is his stats, okay,
Okay.
and this is for 4 years if I'm not mistaken. But now, from what I'm getting here, when I brought it up, he was splitting time with another quarterback, Charles Johnson,
Okay.
which I was trying to bring up his stats. They was using a two-system quarterback, from what
Right.
I'm understanding. But okay, in 4 years, Darian Hogan had 3,801 yards and 27 touchdowns. He had 2,007 yards rushing on top of that, with, I guess, 27 touchdowns. So in 4 years, he's got 54 touchdowns total and 3,800 yards passing, 2,000 yards
Right.
rushing. So, but he wasn't happy that they went ahead and retired his jersey. But like I said, when you bring up the stats and everything else, you can have a good argument why they
Right.
did retire.
Sounds like to me somebody just was at mad so he can get his name in the news. Cause I ain't been talking about him in a while.
Well, I mean,
Cause my
and,
thing is,
and
okay, yeah, it was a different offense. There was more run and gun then. It's just what you call it. He has way more passing yards than you. He has way more touchdowns than you, and he spent less time at the school. I wouldn't even open my
and
mouth.
he jumped from a small school to a big school. And if you remember, the critics said he'll never make it.
Yeah.
Critics came out from all the ESPN analysis came out and said he'll never make it to that big school, to the big jump. And guess what? And I'm gonna tell you this, and which I missed the season record their first year.
Uh.
Okay, well, remember they started out with TCU. They was ranked in the top 10. TCU was their first year in when Sanders came there. I said they would beat TCU. Came from that championship run and got blown out. Okay, in the
Right.
championship. All right, they played TCU. They beat TCU. I said four. Well, they went 4-8. They
Yo,
lost no score.
you breaking up again? Yeah, I'm still here. You just froze. I can hear you, but your pitches froze. Yep.
All right, there.
Yep.
Hey,
It's that beach weather. Uh oh. I think. Okay, you're back.
about now.
I can hear you, but you froze still. Let's see. Let's see if we can refresh this. Nope, you still froze. Yeah, we lost James for a minute. I guess we just give it some time for his internet to kick back in. But let's see. He might be kicking back in right about now. Mm.
There we go.
Alrighty.
All right. But yeah, what I was saying was they were that season. I predicted them to go 8-4. The Colorado Buffs. They went 4-8, and four of those games they lost. It was within one score,
Yeah.
so they could have easily went 8-4. But we'll see how Dion continues with the Colorado Buffs to see how he does, and if he gets players in there to be able to still be able to compete.
Let's see
Uh,
how he does without his kids now.
yeah.
He ain't got his kids.
So and his boy, especially Shador, he's an athlete. I mean, I'd say if you wanted to put him out wide, he could be a receiver, have some good hands and a lot of speed too. He's tall, but
Mm-hmm.
all right. Moving right along, we'll go to the NFL. Now you see, he has some news at the NFL.
Yes. It came to my phone today and it was funny. I was like, well, it wasn't funny. I was happy for him. Uh the Minnesota Vikings picked up his name is first name's not Mingo. It's close to Mingo. I cannot remember what it is. But it's like Mingo Moss. Randy's Moss' son will be playing for the Minnesota Vikings. He's an undrafted free agent. And while you talking about somebody having a chip on his shoulder, he'll have a chip on his shoulder because he was kind of sad. He was kind of depressed about it. But he said his agent gave him a call that the Minnesota Vikings gave him an opportunity to come in to try and make the team. He's like, that's the only team that called him.
You know,
Out of all the teams, that nobody called him.
I remember seeing him when he's playing. And I watched his stats. His stats wouldn't. He's nothing like his daddy was. Which he was a tight end. He's bigger and thicker than his dad. Randy Moss
Yep.
is he is skinny
Skinny.
and tall and cheetah fast.
And can fly.
He
Woo!
can fly, and he isn't. And that's the thing, when you have a player that excels in any sport, using like Michael Jordan, I'm gonna throw LeBron's name out there, and you got Randy Moss. When you have your kids coming up, that's why Michael Jordan said he didn't want his kids playing because they knew they was going to be compared to him and what he done. Well, that's what's happening to Bronny
Mm-hmm.
or Bronny with LeBron, and that's what's going to happen with Randy Moss's son.
That's just like Tony Dorsett. He's a Hall of Fame running back for Dallas Cowboys. His son came in the league, and hardly anybody knew his son was in the league. His
No,
son played free safety for the New York Giants.
look Hardaway Jr. right now.
Yep, exactly.
I mean,
He
he's in the league, but he's not soaring like his dad did. I mean,
nope. He's a Detroit Piston now. At one time when he first got drafted, he was drafted in by the New York Knicks.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, you look at that and everything. So he's going to be compared to his dad. And since you mentioned another one that got signed, it was an undrafted signee to the Tampa Bay Bucks is Garrett Green from West Virginia, the
I
quarterback
forgot about that. Yep.
he changed over to receiver, which is a smart on his move.
Uh
I,
huh.
I said he's a great athlete. I always did. I said it on these podcasts. I just said he wasn't a quarterback. He was a great athlete. He was not a quarterback.
Yep.
And it's a great move on him to go ahead and switch to go to receiver. Now he can have a career in the NFL
Yep.
because he wasn't going to have no career in the
Not
NFL
at
as a quarterback.
quarterback.
I seen some of the comments. Well, that's a good move. He's got a great arm. No, I mean, passing wise, he wasn't accurate. He may have a strong arm, but he wasn't a passer. He wouldn't have made an NFL quarterback too short. I mean, you seen that when we was at that game. I told you before we
Mm-hmm.
got there because I went previous. I said he's too short. Watch this, and I mean he was just short to be able to see over the line.
Yep.
But and so he signed. Um, and then I had news coming where the Chiefs have been cutting players. The Chiefs had they finished up their mini camp for the rookie mini camp.
Mm-hmm.
They had 80 players there. They had the 7 that they drafted. I think they drafted 7. They had them 7 there. Then they had ones trying to make the team. They had 16 that they signed. The undrafted signees, 16, they're on the roster. And then you got others that are trying to make the roster, which they signed another 3. I think one's a linebacker, another a cornerback, and another receiver that got signed from the rookie minicamp. Um, and evidently, Rasheed Rice is going to be back quicker. I ain't seen it. Only reason I'm going by because I've been doing some fantasy football drafts, and
Mm-hmm.
his fantasy points went from 78 to 218.
Okay.
So evidently he's coming back earlier. But here's my thing: is he going to be missing any days from being suspended from that issue from last spring?
I know from that car accident, it's like I think he's
I bet it's all got settled out of court.
right.
I bet it
But
all
even
got
if it's settled, if even if they settle out of court, he still might have to. The NFL still might suspend him.
3 or 6 games, I would think.
Yeah.
Uh, but we'll see what happens there, and then two here, and and like I've always said, I've never liked the news media. I hate them. Always after I learned it from when I went to Iraq and got back, don't like the news media because to me, which I know you don't, you got an associate or you went to college or something, journalism or something. But
I started in journalism, then I got mad and I went to switch to business.
see, but looking right here, I know they're going to twist and do their own things. They got to make news. If they got to make it, they're going to make it, no matter what. Whether they're stirring stuff up or what.
They do
It's
what
that,
sells.
and then whether it's lies or whatever, they're going to sell it. They're going to sell it. But anyway, you got the Browns. They drafted two quarterbacks in this draft. It said Browns quarterback Gabriel embracing addition of Sanders. My thing is Sanders is better than Gabriel
Uh huh.
by far. Gabriel got drafted what, second, third round, and Sanders,
Thought it was the second round. Might
I
have been
think it
the
was second
third.
round, and Sanders was a first round pick.
Yeah.
By far. And to me, we'll see how it all pans out. He's the better quarterback in this draft class.
Yeah. I give him up to week 10. He'll be in the lineup. He'll be in the starting lineup. Week 10.
Um,
I think Gabriel's going to get cut. Because if they only going to keep three quarterbacks, you got Flacco going to be your starter, Kenny Pickett, your backup.
and get this,
Deshaun Watson will stay on injured reserve.
and the head coach for the Browns did not want Shador Sanders. Did not want him. So it was the GM. So here you go again. I mean, the GMs, I think, the one that told them to draft him. They was going to draft him. Good
Yeah, but
job.
here it is.
That's one of the smart things the Browns have done in so many years because you got the best quarterback in the draft. You got a head coach that was going to. They didn't want to. He don't want to deal with it.
And I don't get it because that's Kevin Stefanik or whatever his name is.
Yeah,
Stefan is something
yeah.
weird like that. But he's going to be on this year's hot seat. They are going to fire his tail. I would. And you don't want somebody that can help you win because
Yeah.
Flacco's not gonna make it. He is going to be hurt by week 10.
He's going to keep you afloat to start the season.
Yeah,
He'll keep you afloat. They'll put Gabriel in because they drafted him second. He'll last two
I
to
don't
three
think
weeks.
they can't keep him between all them quarterbacks they got.
Well,
They'll be
you got
because they'll be missing
Watson
somebody
still.
else.
Watson's still going to be out half of the season at least.
Well, Watson don't count because he'll be out on injured reserve. So they're not counting him in that three slots. So you got Flacco, or do you get rid of Kenny Pickett?
I
Because
don't even know why. I don't even know why he kept Kenny Pickett. He has
well, they
not proved
traded
himself
for him, so I think they got him because they traded for him.
because they didn't have a quarterback.
Yeah, because that
Well,
was
now,
before Flacco had signed. They traded and got Kenny Pickett. So you got Flacco and Pickett, and then you only got one slot left. It's either going to be Sanders or Gabriel. you,
if I ain't keeping Pickett, I'm cutting him.
you'll cut Pickett.
I'm cutting Pickett because he didn't prove nothing in Pittsburgh. He didn't do nothing in Pittsburgh.
No, he didn't. But
So you
to
know
his
he
fairness on him, Pickett can always say it wasn't him. It was the coaching style. It was that we ain't have no line,
well
and
Browns don't have a line, so that ain't gonna help you either.
that's true. That's true. And this is what they also think that Cleveland has, just like Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh had to back Najee Harris. Najee is not. He's not the back he was at Alabama. He was not doing it. From his rookie year, he did okay his rookie year, and every other year it was just less and less and less.
That's it.
And now they'll be seeing that no production over there in Seattle.
I tell you, like I said, I've done some of these fantasy drafts. I was going to get into that a little bit, but we're short on time.
Yep.
But watching those drafts and everything and fantasy football and everything else, I'm gonna tell you somebody which I know a lot of people were sleeping on him. And I don't think I've seen nobody pick him up towards the end of the fantasy draft. But J.J. McCarthy for the Vikings could be. I know he's coming off was that knee injury.
No, he had Achilles, I think.
Achilles. Okay, so there's going to be some issues on how he's going to be able to do with it. But if he's able to go and do what he did, he could be. They got to think he could be a sleeper pick towards the end of the draft to have as a backup quarterback because nobody has no game film on him. This is actually his first year really playing.
Right. Yep.
He is loaded with talent around him.
Mm-hmm.
So all he's got to do is just let the car drive itself because you've got Jefferson, you've got Addison, you've got Hawkinson, and you've got Aaron Jones in the backfield. All you got to do is just make the right choices. So,
Yep.
and they got a pretty decent line. So, and he's a good pocket passer. He can sit back there and pick them apart. All you got to do is give him 2 seconds. Boom, 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 and he's loaded with talent.
Yep.
So I think he's one to watch coming with this, and we're looking at these fantasy. There's a lot of people sleeping on some of these older backs like Brees Hall.
Yeah. Hall with the
Brees Hall
Jets. Yeah.
and Brees Hall, and I'll tell you another one, Williams with the Cowboys. Javonte Williams, y'all got from Denver. I'm from Denver. Let me tell you
Right.
what, he could put up a lot. He could put up a lot of stuff this year for y'all because I mean y'all got receivers and everything else. I think Dak Prescott's going to have a better year this year, kind of previous to the previous year. I think he's going to
Right.
put more stats. It's going to be a little different. So
Because
you're
George Pickens is going to be burning folks.
you got Pickens and you got Lamb. Like I said, your Cowboys are going to put up some numbers. Now, what they're going to do as far as the win column, we'll see. They're going to be putting up some numbers and stuff. So, but well, like we're getting close on time. Like we're running out of time. But like we always do, you got anything else before?
I don't.
Well, if you're thinking about harming and hurting yourself, we got that quick number up right now. You dial it 988, then dial 1. That's the Veteran Crisis Line. Or you can dial 1-800-273-8255. Give that number a call, 1-800-273-8255. But the quickest way is at 988. Or go to your local VA medical center, go to the ER, ask them for some help, tell them you need some help, and they'll get you the resources that you need. Anything else you want to mention?
Nah, I got nothing.
All right. Well, y'all can catch us this coming week. We will have an audio edition this week. Catch us on it. But y'all have a good weekend. Stay safe, and we'll see you on the audio.
Alrighty.
Have a good
Y'all
one.
take it easy.